Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Smitty's Gunsmithing. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Mossberg 500 12 gauge pump. This gun was brought to me to check out. The owner installed the Streamlight TL Racker, which is a 4N with a light mounted on it, and also installed this grip and this stock on it. And after the install, he figured out that the firearm would not fire. Whenever you work the action, then this gun is empty. I've already cleared it. When you work the action, safety's off, and pull the trigger, nothing happens. It will not fire. And he thought the issue was actually in the install of the TL Racker, because he hadn't had the proper tools to tighten the 4N nut up here. And I started looking at the shotgun, and I realized that, first of all, the gun's locking up. So when you rack the firearm forward, or 4N forward, it's locking up in battery, which tells me that's not the issue. If the shotgun, if this wasn't going fully in the battery, that could absolutely cause the firing pin not to fall. But if this is locking up fully in the battery, the issue's got to be back here somewhere. So we're going to break this down. I believe the issue is going to be either with the pistol grip or the buttstock. So we're going to take this apart and see what the issue is. And I guarantee you something with this stock is binding with the safety and causing the safety to fail to disengage. This pistol grip is also a little on the wobbly side. Definitely shouldn't be that loose. I don't know who made this stock and this pistol grip. There's no name on it whatsoever. It is marked on this right here, M590. So it's made for the Mossberg 500, 590 series. If it's marked 590, it should work on the 500. In theory. Anyway. I'm going to take that all the way out. Now we can unscrew the buffer tube. Or in this case, the stock tube, since this is not an AR. Okay, so I've got the pistol grip off. I've got the tube off. I'll try it again. Still failing to fire. That's on safe. Safety off. Firing pin still failing to go off. So that's also kind of loose. So that wasn't screwed in tight at all. Okay. So you got a rather long nut right there, bolt right there. It goes through here. And there's that much protruding into the action where it screws in at the back. Almost guarantee you that's going to be the problem. So now safety's off. Firing pin fell. Unlocked. Firing pin fell. Unlocked. Firing pin fell. So the The issue is definitely going to be in this bolt and stock piece right here. And that's what's causing the issue. I'll drive out our pin, pull the action assembly out. And pull the shell latches. Okay. So if you look right down here, that's your safety. You see it moves forward and rearward when I press the button on the top. And that engages with this right here and allows this. Let's see if I can remember how this goes. Alright, so in its resting position, pull the trigger, firing pin releases. That moves upwards as you pull the trigger. Okay. So when your safety is in its rearward position, like this, that block right down in there, shiny block, moves over the top of this right here and blocks this from moving up. And when that can't move up, your hammer can't fall. So I almost guarantee you what's happening is this bolt is coming in from your stock through the rear of your receiver. It's engaging on here, and actually it looks like the face of that right there is chewed up a little bit, probably from where this was screwed in. If you notice, so I can get this where you guys can see, right there, you got a worn place on that screw. And so that's going to be the issue. I do not know if this is the screw that came with the stock. If this is some other screw. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what name brand this stock system is. It says literally M590 on one side, USA on the other. And on the collapsible stock portion, there is nothing indicating a name anywhere on here that I can see. Well, wait a minute. Made in USA. And that just says M4. So there's no name on this anywhere. So what I'm going to do now is put this back in place. And I can't recall if there's supposed to be a spacer here or not on the Mossberg 500. There's a spacer goes there on the 870. So I'm going to have to pull a schematic and see what I can find out there. And I'll go ahead and just screw this back in and see how much this is protruding into our action here. And this was loose. It wasn't even completely tight like it should be. And it's causing issues. Oh yeah. I just finger snugged that. And let's see if I can get this for you to see on camera. If I move this light a little bit up higher, maybe if it'll stay. It's kind of heavy. If you look right down in there, you can see where the stock bolt is coming over the safety bar right here, and it's definitely interfering with this portion of the safety in your action, in your trigger assembly. So the stock bolt is going to absolutely be the issue with this. I'm not going to bore you all the details. This gun also needs cleaning. It's kind of dirty, got a lot of lint and dust or whatever built up inside of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna clean this gun up really good. I'll make sure this is properly tightened like it needs to be. Just kind of skin up from whatever tools he used to try to install it with, but there's nothing really I can do with that. It's parkerized. It's gouged a little bit. I might try to see if I can put a little bit of touch-up cold bluing on that, make it look a little more presentable. And I'm going to take this and get some measurements. I'm actually just going to mark it, and I'm going to cut this bolt short, clean up the threads on it, get this back reinstalled and torqued down properly. It should be good to go. I got to make sure it's not going to interfere. Somebody doing a lot of shooting up behind my house, across the woods. Actually, in lieu of actually shortening this bolt, I can probably put a couple more washers over it right here and back it out to where it doesn't go so far into the receiver. However, the way this is worn on the inside, I don't know if I want to do that or not. I might try it and see how the fit is, see how tight it is. I don't want to back it out too much and rely on too many washers, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to stack about 3 or 4 more washers on there to get that to where it's going to be. So I'm probably going to just go ahead and shorten it, and then I'm going to look into this right here. This fits on here and mounts very similar to an AR-15 pistol grip, and that's actually an AR-15 pistol grip there, but I don't like the way that's fitting. There's a lot of play, a lot of wobble in that grip. So I'm going to see what I can do to tighten this fit up as well. He did send me the old pistol grip. I guess, well, no. So this gun had a pistol grip on it before on the back like that. And that is probably, yeah, this is a lot thicker on the inside right here. So when this bolt is in there, it only protrudes that much, which is very little. When you put it in this one, because this is not as thick on the inside, it's hollow, the bolt sticks out that much. So this is probably your original bolt right here that fit the original pistol grip, and that's what the issue is going to be. So I might just see if I can get another bolt at the hardware store, just in case he ever wants to install this pistol grip back on this shotgun. He'll have this original bolt with it, and see if I can get a shorter bolt at the hardware, another one this size at the hardware store, and cut it down. As I kind of hate to cut down the original bolt that matches this, because once I cut this, you'll never be able to put this back on again. So I may by some miracle look up and have one of these bolts these size, but I don't think I do. So a trip to the hardware store might be in order to get that. I think one of the things that's going to help here is to get a couple of washers, or a washer and a wide washer and a lock washer, and put on this before you screw this back in, and that should tighten up that fit. There is a decent amount of gap on this right here though. I don't like that. Don't know if you can see it on camera, hopefully you can. But right here on that side, there was something there before that's been wore off or ground off. I can't tell for sure. That probably served to tighten up the fit. But now that it's there, the fit is not tight enough, so I just don't like, even if I press this up, so that's the same as if it's tight with the screw. When I push up on it like that, it's still got side to side wobble because there's about, I'd say 20 thousandths of a gap between here and this surface here. So I'm gonna see what I can do to tighten that up. It may be that I can heat this slightly and compress this in the vise and let it harden back up and tighten this back together and close that gap some. If not, I'm probably gonna have to shim it and then reinstall the bolt and washer and lock washer from the bottom, and that should take out some of that play. That's just unacceptable. I can't send this shotgun back with that much play in that grip. That's just not even professional. So see what I can do with that. Once I get everything squared away and figure out this and get the bolt straightened out, I will do another video. Well, it won't be another video, it'll be another section through this video showing what I did and what I found worked, or explaining what I did and what I found worked. In case any of you guys run into any issues with this, like I said, I don't know if this is what name brand these stock components are, and I don't know if it came with how, I don't know how he acquired them. I don't know if he bought it and it came in a kit. I don't know if, you know, he just got the stock itself. We didn't have the mounting hardware, but this is not the right bolt that goes with this. This bolt went with the original pistol grip that came on the shotgun, probably from the factory. So I'll have to find some more hardware. If worst comes to worst, which I'm sure I could probably find one of these bolts at the hardware store, but if not, I'll just cut this one short. And if he ever wants to install the pistol grip back again, you'll have to contact Mossberg and see if we can get one from the factory. But I don't think finding a bolt that size and that thread pitch is going to be an issue at all. If I had a lathe, I could actually make one, but I don't have a lathe yet, so one day I'll get there. But like I said, I'm gonna end the video here, and then when I get everything figured out, I'll come back, finish this video out, explain what I found, or not what I found, but what the corrections wound up being, and update you guys there, and then I'll post this video. Y'all take care. Okay, everyone, welcome back. So I went through this shotgun, took it all the way apart, fixed a few different issues. For one, you might have noticed in the first part of the video, there was a gap between the lug of the barrel right here and the magazine tube, even with this tightened all the way down. That was that way from the factory. Apparently somebody got a little happy with screwing the mag tube in, and I could tell it hadn't been taken apart because the factory Loctite was still on the mag tube threads. So I had to apply some heat, and it was binding the barrel actually right up here. Trying to get this screw right here on and off. The barrel was in a bind, and you can see a little bit of an angle, as well as the gap right here where it wasn't quite seating right. So I applied some heat, broke the Loctite here, took this mag tube out, cleaned the entire gun inside and out, set the barrel back in, and got the mag tube screwed in to where as far as I needed it to get it to line up properly and the barrel tighten up right here and not leave a gap and an angle. And once I'd done that, I marked the mag tube right here with a pencil, went back, pulled it back out, applied blue Loctite, put it back in place, double check the fitment, and let that set up and get hard so it'll stay in place and won't loosen up. But it won't be as hard to take apart in the future if you need to replace the magazine spring or clear out the inside of the mag tube. It'll come apart a little bit more easily. and with that Loctite on, you can screw it right back on, and it'll hold in place pretty well. Let's see what else I do. I went ahead and took this TL Racker off the fore-end part right here, cleaned all of that out. I did find some rust, which this was really dirty. There's a lot of dust and lint and stuff up under this heat shield. So I took this off, cleaned all that really good. Found some rust starting on the underside of this and on the magazine tube, between the barrel and magazine tube. So I cleaned that up, lubricated everything. This barrel was really sticky going in and out of the action, and there was some substance, I don't know what it was, on the actual lug of the barrel that goes up into the receiver. It was sticky and had hardened on that surface right there, so I got that cleaned off. Wound up using the original bolt that I took out of this stock. It was designed and made for this pistol grip. Let's sit right back here, so it's a little bit longer than the one needed for this. But I also, at the same time, I started to fit a different bolt to it, and I had one that would work, but this needed some more support up in here anyway. So I put 3 washers. I thought actually 4. The 2 washers that came on the bolt, which is a lock washer and a little bit bigger washer. Then I put a neck size up bigger washer and a neck size up bigger washer up in here to get a better surface contact between this plastic on the inside, or this polymer on the inside of this, and the rear of the receiver. So I've got that held up nice and tight. There was a fitment issues right here between the trigger guard portion of this and the trigger guard. This didn't quite want to go over the trigger guard like it was supposed to. It was too tight. So I took a heat gun and applied a little bit of heat, got this warmed up and softened just a little bit, and got it where it stretched over that trigger guard, so I didn't have to actually try to slam down the rear of the trigger guard and alter the factory part. And I didn't have to wind up filing or grinding this down any. So it still looks pretty decent. Personally, my preference, if I was going to run this stock on here, I would come in and grind this area out right here just to make the access and the slide release a little bit easier. But I mean, it works as it is. Just got to hit it right. It's just not as fast as I would like it. So I would actually, if this was my personal gun, I would come here and grind this out some, flatten this surface and expose that a little bit more. But it's not mine, so I'm going to rock with it as is. Unless the guy that owns this gun decides he wants it changed. I went back in here and tightened this up with a castle nut wrench. Got that tight. I Loctited this screw in place, and this just keeps it goes in this little track right here in the bottom and keeps this tube from wanting to turn if it gets loose. But I've got this tightened up nicely inside of here. Got the castle nut tightened up nicely. I didn't want to torque it anymore against that plastic, but it's nice and snug. Let's talk about this. With the factory bolt, by the way, that was in the factory stock bolt that come off the pistol grip, and the washers I added, it kept it inside the receiver enough that it didn't interfere with the safety anymore, so I got that issue fixed. You can see this gun's clear. I haven't loaded anything up. There again, there's that. Trying to find that. Gun's empty. Safety on. Nothing happens. Safety off. It's releasing. Action cycling. And the firing pin's falling. So that stock bolt was absolutely the issue with that. I've got that resolved without having to modify the original stock bolt or fit another one. Though I was prepared to fit one if I needed to. Lastly, I said I wanted to tighten up this fit right here, because let me grab another one. When I first picked this shotgun up, I noticed that was a loose fit, and this is one of these was the original that was come on this shotgun, and one's another one I had as a spare here. They're both identical, but you see there's a lot of left to right movement right there. And I estimated there's about 20 thousandths of play between this lug right here and this slot. So let's see if we can confirm and get a measurement of just how much play there was. Oh yeah, there's more. Yeah, there's more than 20 thousandths. I can slide that in there easily. So I'd say somewhere between 20 and 25 thousandths. Let's just go to 25 thousandths filler gauge. 25 is just getting tight. So yeah, about 25, 26, 27 thousandths of play. I'd say 26. And even with the bolt tightened up right here, that just always falls. But just too much wobbling and wiggle right there. So what I did was I took a heat gun and I heated this area right here on both sides, the back, this area down in the slot, and this front. And if you can look, see if I can get this to show on camera, but you can see some slight like shiny area right there on the inside lip. That is where I heated it. I heated it to the point to where that was just starting to form some slight bubbles on that edge right there. And I compressed the upper part of this in a vise once I got it to the heat I needed, and compressed it in a vise, tightened it down. Not excessively tight, but I kept tightening it a little bit more and more, and then let it sit up and harden. And now you see how I had to put some pressure on that to get it on, and there's very little wobbling there now. Second part of this I'm going to do to tighten this up, this bolt that come in there has a head not much bigger than the actual threads of the bolt. Not a lot of surface area to grab this and hold it firmly. So I'm adding a lock washer and a flat washer. That's going to give a lot more surface area to hold the inside this grip and hold it up to that lug on that stock piece. So I'm going to take this right here and see if I can get this started. I'm not even in the hole. Okay. I wish this was a Phillips. I'm sorry, a hex head. These are a little easier to control. Than these flatheads. Trying to get them started in this hole. But the washer actually might be an issue. I might have a slightly too big washer. It fit up nicely in the other grip that I was checking while I had this one in the vise, but the inside dimensions on this one might be slightly off. So I might have to go with a smaller diameter washer just to get this where I need it to be. I think that might be the case. Also, it's probably due to me compressing this one. Let's probably tighten this up right in here just a little bit, since I heated this and compressed it in the vise. That's probably causing the washer not to fit. So, pardon the air compressor. I want to see. Yeah, that's the same size washer. I don't believe I'm actually gonna have any what's the right size I need. Unless I got some in this other container. One of these two may be it if it'll go over the bolt. Come on, thread in there. No, that's a little too small. It's probably gonna be the same thing with this one. Yep, the inner diameter is a little too small. So anyways, I'm not gonna bore you all the details of this, but what I'm gonna wind up doing is I'm gonna chuck this up with a bolt and hold it tight right there. And I'm going to tighten this up so that it holds that washer securely. And I'm going to chuck the tip of this bolt head in a drill, and I'm going to spin this lightly against a belt sander and just run the outside diameter of this down just a few thousandths, and that should give me the clearance I need to get this to go on up in there and not be an issue. And I'll get this installed back, and we'll have a much nicer fit between this grip. And that's absolutely what's happening. Since I've compressed this right here, that washer won't quite fit. So I knocked out the diameter of this down a few thousandths, and that'll give me still enough surface area to get a much better fit and tighten this up better against that lug than just that bolt head right there. So if you're trying to install one of these stocks on your shotgun, watch that bolt on the back. If you get hardware that comes with the stock, a bolt that comes with that stock that's designed for that stock to work, great, use that if at all possible. If you don't have or don't get a bolt with the stock, or you don't have the right bolt and your bolt's too long, if you have issues, I would go ahead and just take my trigger assembly out, fuel strip the shotgun, put the stock on there, go ahead and tighten the bolt down and see where your bolt is at and see if it's protruding into your action. Because if your bolt's long enough and it's tightened down enough, you actually could damage part of your safety system right here. Depends on the bolt and how hard you tighten it down. This one didn't come through quite that far. It gouged the metal a little bit on a couple of parts or a couple of safety components, but nothing that's going to affect the function. I've already checked that, and it's good to go as is. But if the bolt's any longer than this one was and you tighten it all the way down, you definitely could break or seriously damage those parts to where they won't function. So always, if you're going to install a new stock, you're not sure about your bolt fitment, go ahead and just pull this trigger assembly plate out, just fuel strip the gun so you can see down in there, tighten your stock on, put your stock on, tighten your bolt down, and then check to see if that bolt is protruding into your action where it's going to be in the way of any of your action components. Like if you have any fitment issues, with one of these not going over the trigger guard quite enough, there's a few thousandths of difference right here where it wouldn't quite fit over like it needed to. Take a heat gun, apply a little bit of heat, take something in that little channel right here and just spread that open easily, and that'll help you your fitment issues right there. If you're like me and you don't like anything hindering your slide release, and it doesn't hinder it, it works, but it's not as intuitive to me to find it fast. So I would most definitely come in here if this were mine, and I'd grind this down right here flat, and then I'd take some progressively finer sandpaper and smooth it out, and just have that where it's a little more prominent, a little easier to feel with your finger if you're in a high stress situation. So I think that's everything I need to go over. Oh yeah, by the way, if you get one of these shotguns, and I love Mossberg shotguns, all manufacturers had their flaws. 870s are good shotguns, but they are a little more difficult to replace parts in and work on than the Mossberg. Mossbergs are also very good shotguns. They are easier to work on. One thing to pay attention to is your ejector screw right here. I have had one of those come loose in the past. Actually, I was out in the field hunting, and this one's a flat head. I think on my shotgun it was a Phillips head. Anyhow, when I was out hunting one day, just from shotgun being fired, I used that shotgun a lot when I was younger as a teenager growing up. That screw wound up working out and falling out, and I lost that screw in the woods. Contacted Mossberg. Shotgun was well beyond the warranty period, but they sent me one for free, no problems. And from that point forward, I always Loctite these in place. Use blue Loctite or purple. Don't use red or green. This one actually, and I took it apart because I wasn't sure if it was Loctite in place or not, and I needed to clean up in here anyway. So I took this one out, and it was actually Loctited from the factory. So apparently, over the years, that's an improvement they started making, going ahead and Loctiting these in place so they don't work loose. But if your shotgun isn't Loctited, I'd put some blue Loctite. That's all you need. It's going to hold it, and that way you make sure you don't lose that screw. With that being said, Mossberg's trigger plate assembly is a whole lot simpler than Remington 870. Your shell latches, they're not staked in place. Your ejector's not staked in place. It's a lot easier to replace components in the 870 if you have to. I think the design of this ejector right here is superior to the Remington 870. But I mean, if the Remington 870 is properly maintained and taken care of, you keep your magazine cap tight, you usually won't have any issues with that ejector breaking off right in this area on the 870. But it can happen, and it does happen. They do break and have to be replaced, and you got to have some specialized tools and a little bit of know-how to go in there and replace all of that. So, and there again, Remington parts are getting harder and harder to find. Mossberg parts aren't that hard to find currently, so that's a plus on the side of the Mossberg. Personally, I love the fact that Mossberg has the thumb safety right here on the top of the receiver, on the tang. It's completely ambidextrous, and if you got a regular stock setup on a Mossberg as opposed to this system here, you can literally have your trigger finger on the trigger guard, your thumb on the thumb safety, and one of these two fingers right here on the back on your slide release, so you can completely manipulate all functions of the action without even moving your hand. That's one thing I like about the Mossberg. But Mossberg and 870, both are awesome shotguns. They both are time tested. They both have seen military service in different branches of the military and perform well. They both have undergone extensive torture testing. Both have done well. They both have a lot of law enforcement experience, and both have done well. So both of them are good shotguns. Just comes down to personal preference. However, I will say the Mossbergs are a little bit easier to work on. You can also remove the mag tubes on these, Remington 870. They're soldered in place or brazed in place. So it's not very easy to take them out and replace them. However, you don't have to take the entire mag tube out on the Remington 870 to get to your mag spring and your follower. You come in from the rear when you take the magazine cap off, or come in from the front when you take the magazine cap off, and pull your mag spring follower or mag spring retainer out, and then you can just pull your spring, your follower, everything comes right out. You can get there to clean it. On the Mossberg 500, you do have to actually unscrew the magazine tube from your receiver and go in there and replace where you need to replace or clean where you need to clean. Then it's important to make sure you got this screwed back in properly into the receiver, not too far, not too much out. That way you get your barrel made up. Lock your barrel needs to seat all the way into your action right here, and you need to be able to get this to fit up against the end of your mag tube properly. So that's going to be it for this video. Hope this helps someone if you run into any issues. Once I get this spring, or sorry, this washer worked out, I'll get this mounted back on, and then I'll put the sling adapter back on the front, and this shot going to be done. So thanks for watching. If you find this content useful, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And y'all have a great day.